Good morning, viewers. This is Women Empowerment and Legal Aid, a non-governmental organization that defends the rights of women and children in Nigeria. This morning, we will be discussing Know Your Rights, and specifically the topic we want to discuss with you this morning is freedom from discrimination. Yes, the law is that every person shall be treated equally before the law. And when this does not happen, it becomes discrimination. And so we are saying nobody shall be discriminated against on the basis of sex, on the basis of race, on the basis of ethnicity, on the basis of color, yes, on the basis of even circumstance of birth. Yes, that takes us to freedom from discrimination against women, against different people from different ethnic groups, against people from different races, against people of different colors. And so the idea is that every man is equal before the law, because God created man and woman in his image. So nobody is created in a lesser image of God. And so when a situation occurs where the rights are not equal, it becomes discrimination. When conditions are not equal, it becomes discrimination. When people are exposed to different privileges, then it becomes discrimination. We are saying that in that place of work, at home, in the society, in governance, and in all activities that has to do with different people, every person shall be entitled to the same conditions, to the same situations, and to the same rights, to the same privileges. And so where the rights are not equal, where the privileges are different and not equal, when one is put at an advantage above the other, it becomes discrimination. And so under the Constitution of Nigeria, Section 42 specifically provides that nobody shall be discriminated against on the basis of sex, on the basis of race, on the basis of color or circumstance of birth. Again, all the international conventions and laws applicable in Nigeria, to which Nigeria is a signatory, and of course becomes applicable in Nigeria, also provide that every person shall be treated equally. Now, for example, the Universal Declaration for Human Rights, which is an international convention, and is applicable in Nigeria because Nigeria is a signatory to that treaty, specifically provides under Article 2 that nobody shall be discriminated against on the basis of race, on the basis of color, or circumstance of birth. The International Covenant on Socio-Economic and Political Rights also provides that nobody shall be discriminated against on the basis of color or circumstance of birth or race, and that is Article 26. This morning we'll be discussing the International Day for the Elimination of Discrimination, or racial discrimination specifically, and that is internationally, and it's a day that is celebrated by United Nations and celebrated all over the world. And this is to say that every person, irrespective of the race, every person shall be entitled to the same conditions, the same opportunities, the same rights and privileges under the law. Now, briefly, the essence or the origin of the International Day against racial discrimination took its root from apartheid in South Africa. Specifically, I think 1960, the white people that were in power in South Africa opened fire, and they killed about 160 indigenous or the blacks in South Africa because they were protesting peacefully against apartheid. And so this gruesome murder of about 160 people took the whole world aback, and everybody began to campaign against apartheid, everybody began to campaign against discrimination. And so the United Nations had to meet, and under the General Assembly of the United Nations, a day was specifically set aside to tell people the evils of apartheid, to campaign against apartheid, to campaign against racism, to campaign against discrimination, and to bring to the awareness of everybody all over the world that no man is superior to the other under the law, and that every man shall be treated equally under the law. And of course, this has since then become a day that is observed all over the world. So March 21 is this day, and that is this week Thursday, and we will be celebrating the International Day for the Elimination of Discrimination Against Racism all over the world. And so want you to join us in this celebration, and as we celebrate, we want us to remember that racism is evil, apartheid is evil. Of course, racism is what gave birth to apartheid. Apartheid is gone in South Africa, but racism still exists all over the world. Of a fact, in Nigeria, there is what we call discrimination, which may not be racism, but discrimination against women, discrimination on the basis of sex, discrimination on the basis of ethnicity. Where do you come from? Who is your father? Who is his, where did they originate from? Is it from Southwest, from Northeast, from Southeast? All these are forms of discrimination that has even eaten deep into our society and is affecting governance. So when we are talking about elimination of racism, we are also talking about elimination of discrimination, even in Nigeria, against discrimination against one another on the basis of sex or even ethnicity. And so we're saying ethnicity, discrimination on the basis of ethnicity, on the basis of sex, on the basis of color, on the basis of race, on the basis of circumstance of birth is discriminating and is bad, is against the law, and all the international conventions applicable in Nigeria forbid it. And I am also saying that the law of Nigeria, the constitution of this country, forbids it. So join us to fight discrimination on the basis of sex. Join us to fight discrimination on the basis of ethnicity. Join us to fight discrimination on the basis of race or color or circumstance of birth. Until next week, I want to wish you well, and I say we say no to racism, we say no to discrimination, and we, of course, we say no to apartheid. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.